Hey, this is Matt from Cryptopsy, and you're listening to Infernal TV.
Hey everyone, it is Stephanie here with Infernal TV, and I'm here with Matt from Cryptopsy. So how are you?
I'm doing really good, yeah. I'm having lots of fun out here on the Hell Over North America tour. We had a great night last night in Margate. Probably one of the most intense mosh pits I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
For Slit Your Guts, it was really out of control.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I always like about South Florida fans is that they are always so crazy. All the shows I've been out to are insane, but we're in Orlando tonight, so are you still expecting the same energy from last night?
I hope so. I remember last time we were here with Belphegor in 2017, I want to say. I remember it being a good night.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, from all the social media posts that I've seen, that every single show on this tour has been insane. So do you think so, or?
It's been fun. I wouldn't say it's as insane as Europe was.
Oh,
There's been some nights that have been a bit more quiet. Yeah.
Got it. Well, Tome II, I mean, we'll go into talking about that EP later on the interview, but you do play quite a few songs from that EP live, so what is it like performing them live?
I'm comfortable now. The first few times was a struggle. Cryptopsy, we tend to not practice enough before going on tour. We each work on stuff on our own corners, and then we attack it on stage together.
Nice.
So the first few European shows we were playing those new songs was a bit sketchy, but figuring out where to put my breaths and crowd interaction, chant out sections, sort of changes your whole diaphragm position, and then you hit the end of your sentence and you're out of air. So that was a struggle. I also have been working on a new vocal technique, which we call the Chris Bark.
The Chris Bark.
Which was discovered in studio. I was just walking back into the recording room, and I was just warming up my voice with this scream, and Chris, our guitarist, who is our engineer, was like, let's try that on a track, just to hear what that sounds like. And we liked it. We put it in a bunch of places. So to discover how to do that live in Europe too was I remember the first show, but now it's really easy, and it's become my go-to Lord Worm era Cryptopsy song voices.
Can you demonstrate the Chris Bark for us?
Sure, yeah. It's just a simple.
That is awesome. I love it. Into your podcast, Vox&hops. So overall, how did you get the inspiration to start a podcast?
Last year I was on a sabbatical. I stayed home from my day job, and I stayed home with my daughter. We don't watch TV with her, so sometimes the days during the winter, especially in Canada, can get long. Yeah. So I would put on podcasts in the background, just playing. Then I discovered the Jasta show, who I went to first because I know him and I've been a guest on the podcast, so I wanted to see what other things were like, so I started really getting into that. And then the X-Man with Doc Coyle from Bad Wolves now. I know him from God Forbid days. And my favorite is the off-camera with Sam Jones. So I really started getting inspired and getting this idea, and I was talking to my wife. I remember we went out for her birthday, and we were just like brainstorming back and forth. Like she's like always super supportive of any idea I have, and she's like a project manager in life, so she likes to build things. So she got really excited, and we came up with the name that night. I knew I wanted beer to be a part of it because I'm a huge craft beer enthusiast. The Montreal craft beer scene is insane, and I love sharing beer with people. I love going to find these beers that you can't get, and then I share them with my friends. So it sort of translated into the touring. I met all the guys that like craft beer on tour. Before I came on this tour, I brought a bunch of beers, and I was like, here's a beer for you, here's a beer for you. So it's the same thing with the podcast. It's basically two friends getting together and sharing a pint, and the world is there to listen.
That's awesome. And let's go back to Cryptopsy, because while I was preparing for this interview, I just kind of went back to listen to Tome I as well, and then also just gave Tome II another listen. And overall, what do you think is the difference, like how you approached each EP?
I know what my difference is I built all the songs. I know my normal path of writing lyrics and vocal patterns would be I wait to receive tracks with drums and guitars, and from there I would start working. This time around, my son was going to be born in late May, early June, and I saw the window of our studio time getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and I was so afraid that they would call me and say, Matt, you're up. And I was like, I can't come because he's going to be born, and I don't want to be doing this right now. I want to be focused on the EP. I didn't want to have that in the back of my mind. So what I did is I just asked for the guitar tracks, no drums, just guitar tracks and clicks. And I sat there and I counted out all the riffs, tapping a pencil on the paper. And I deconstructed the songs that way, and then I wrote my lyrics that way. And I feel that the songs are more in tune with the rest of the songs and the riffs, to the point where on stage now, all I want to hear is my guitarist's guitar and my voice, and I can survive there.
Nice. Do you think that you'll continue writing your vocal parts?
I think I will, but Chris is going to be nice, and instead of having me count out all the clicks, because all the clicks were standard, you can have it in two settings where all the clicks are just one sound, or on every one beat it becomes like a little higher pitched, so you can deconstruct the riffs a little bit easier.
Nice. All right. And so, have you started any work on Tome III, or do you have any ideas? Or
Yeah. I know what it's going to be about, that's for sure. So Tome I the Book of Suffering is a package of EPs that are based around suffering, keeping it simple. Tome I was about people who cause suffering. Tome II is about people who have escaped suffering, and Tome III is going to be about people who have witnessed suffering. So I don't know what I'm going to write about, but I know where I can go. And the band being in the position it's in right now, with Ollie joining Cattle Decapitation and going out and recording with them and touring with them, and Flo doing Ultimas and touring with them. So our windows of being able to get together to write this out is getting narrower and narrower, and we've picked 2 sections in our upcoming free time, so I hope those sections work out and we can get the EP out much faster than Tome II.
Awesome. And one thing I've always wondered with Cryptopsy is that you are all such an influential band. So, but all of the EPs and the albums that you released are still so unique. I mean, you still have the same sound, but they're still all so unique. So how do you find, whether it's influences, whether it's ideas, like how do you, as such an influential band, how do you just keep going on?
2 words. Captain Caesar.
Captain Caesar, all right.
When we write, the guys get together and they get really, really drunk.
Perfect.
That's I'm not joking. That's how they do it.
Hey, why not? Some liquid. Well, I don't want to call it liquid courage, but just some liquid.
It's to dumb their own judgments on themselves.
There we go.
So that they can step away a little bit.
That would be a very interesting video, or something.
We actually spoke about putting a time-lapse camera for the next one, because
great. Or something on your podcast about it.
Yeah.
Drinking lots of beer and with my band.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way not to do drunk interviews.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry, never mind that idea. That won't be an episode of his podcast. So, I know that we were talking about Tome III a little bit, but do you have anything else planned for this year? Any touring or anything?
Yeah. Right after Hell Over North America, we're going to Europe alongside Ingested, Insight, Night Rage, Demonical, and Glory Hole Guillotine. That starts on May 3rd at Netherlands Death Fest in Tilburg. And then we're playing the Dreamer Fest the day after that, and then we're making our way up to Scandinavia and back through Germany and stuff, so that should be cool. I haven't been to Scandinavia, so
Well, there you go.
first time in a long time.
Yep.
And then another new experience in early July, we're going to do an Asian tour, doing Japan, Korea, Indonesia, that whole area, so
Nice.
that should
That's awesome.
it's gonna be crazy shows. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. And then this is the last question. You could just say what you want. If you want to promote the upcoming tours, if you want to promote your podcast, just take it away.
I'll do it. Get all your tickets to the upcoming Cryptopsy tours at cryptopsy.ca in the tour section. They are all listed there. And listen to Vox&hops if you like metal anecdotes from metal dudes, industry people, funny tour stories, horror stories. Check out Vox&hops. It's available at vox&hops.com. It's available on all podcasting platforms as well.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for checking out this interview. Cryptopsy obviously has a lot of awesome stuff going on. So if you're in Europe, if you're in Asia, then definitely come out to the shows. If you haven't listened to Tome II yet, it's an awesome EP. And then be on the lookout for Tome III, because eventually that will also come out. And of course, check out Vox&hops. It's an awesome podcast, and it's a really cool idea. And seems like he has a lot of awesome guests, or at least from what I've seen so far, you have a lot of awesome guests.
A lot of awesome friends is what it is.
There we go. He has awesome friends. So thank you so much for watching, and stay metal, everyone.